Too much heaven, no, it's much harder to go. Staying alive, staying alive.
In 1977, as disco lights flashed across dance floors around the world, three distinct voices merged to create one of the most iconic sounds in music history. Among them was a clear, vibrant tenor that could soar to incredible heights, the voice of Robin Gibb. But while millions knew the sound of the Bee Gees, few understood the unique role of the man who helped craft their signature style. Robin wasn't just one-third of the most successful family act in music history. He was a musical perfectionist whose life story would weave through the highest peaks of success and the deepest valleys of personal struggle. Long before the glitter of disco balls and the acclaim of worldwide fame, Robin Hugh Gibb's story began on the Isle of Man, in a humble home where music was as natural as breathing. Born on December the 22nd, 1949, just 35 minutes before his twin brother Maurice, Robin's earliest memories were filled with the sounds of his family's harmonies echoing through their small home. These weren't just casual sing-alongs, they were the foundation of what would become one of popular music's most enduring legacies. The Gibb family, parents Hugh and Barbara, along with older brother Barry and twins Robin and Maurice, lived modestly, but their home was rich with creativity. While other children played with toys, the Gibb brothers were already crafting melodies, teaching themselves to play instruments and perfecting their harmonies. Robin, even then, stood out. His voice, distinctively tremulous and powerful, seemed to carry an emotional weight far beyond his years. What's your favourite Robin Gibb-led Bee Gees song, and what memories does it bring back for you? Early life. In 1958, the Gibb family made a life-changing decision to move to Manchester, England, seeking better opportunities. But it was their subsequent migration to Australia in 1958 that would truly set the stage for the brothers' musical destiny. In the sun-drenched suburbs of Brisbane, the teenage Gibbs began performing anywhere that would have them: small clubs, local television shows, and talent contests. Robin, just 12 years old, was already showing signs of the distinctive vibrato that would later become his trademark. The brothers called themselves the Bee Gees, a name derived from multiple possible sources, either from the initials of brothers Gibb, or as local Australian DJ Bill Gates nicknamed them, Bill Gates Boys. Their first regular gig was at the Redcliffe Speedway, where they earned pocket money performing between races. It was here that they caught the attention of radio DJ Bill Good and race announcer Bill Gates, who were impressed by their natural harmony and stage presence. Robin's role in these early days was crucial. While Barry, the eldest, often took lead vocals, it was Robin's distinctive voice that added depth and emotion to their sound. His first major lead vocal came on their early hit I Started a Joke, where his tremulous, vulnerable delivery perfectly captured the song's melancholic theme. This period also saw the development of the brothers' songwriting partnership, with Robin showing an early talent for crafting melodic, emotionally resonant lyrics. The brothers' success in Australia was steady, but modest. They released their first single, The Battle of the Blue and the Grey, in 1963, followed by their first chart success, Wine and Women, in 1965. During this time, Robin was developing not just as a singer, but as a songwriter, contributing to the increasingly sophisticated material the group was producing. The brothers spent countless hours perfecting their three-part harmonies, with Robin's voice often providing the high, emotional counterpoint to Barry's lead. By 1966, frustrated with their limited success in Australia and sensing bigger opportunities elsewhere, the brothers made another pivotal decision. With their parents' blessing, they boarded a ship back to England, determined to make it in the much larger British music scene. None of them could have imagined the extraordinary journey that lay ahead. Do you think the Bee Gees would have achieved the same legendary status if they had stayed in Australia? Share your thoughts below. Rise to fame. Landing in Southampton in early 1967, the Gibb brothers faced a British music scene dominated by the aftermath of the Beatles' revolution. Yet within months, their unique sound would carve its own niche. Their breakthrough came when Robert Stigwood, a young music entrepreneur, heard their demo tape and immediately signed them. The release of New York Mining Disaster 1941 marked their first international hit, with Robin's haunting lead vocals creating a sound that was often mistaken for the Beatles themselves. The floodgates opened. Massachusetts, featuring Robin's lead vocals, soared to #1 in the UK and across Europe. I've Gotta Get a Message to You and I Started a Joke followed, each showcasing Robin's distinctive vibrato and emotional depth. The latter became particularly associated with him, its philosophical lyrics and melodic complexity reflecting his emerging artistic personality. During this period, Robin's individual identity began to emerge more strongly. While Barry's falsetto would later define the disco era, it was Robin's vibrato that gave the group's early hits their distinctive character. His songwriting contributions grew more sophisticated, often exploring deeper, more complex themes than typical pop fare. But success brought its own challenges. By 1969, tensions were building. Robin, feeling increasingly constrained within the group dynamic, launched his solo career with Saved by the Bell, which reached #2 in the UK charts. This period of separation, though brief, demonstrated both his individual talent and the magical chemistry he shared with his brothers. His solo album, Robin's Reign, showcased his artistic vision, but the pull of fraternal harmony proved stronger than individual ambition. The early 1970s saw the brothers reunite, setting the stage for their most extraordinary decade ahead. Their sound began to evolve, incorporating new influences and pushing boundaries that would eventually lead them to their next great transformation. Peak years. By 1975, the Bee Gees were searching for a new direction when they discovered their rhythm. The release of Jive Talkin' marked a dramatic shift toward a more dance-oriented sound, but it was their contribution to Saturday Night Fever in 1977 that would cement their place in music history. Robin's role evolved during this transformation. While Barry's falsetto became the group's signature disco sound, Robin's distinctive voice provided the emotional anchor that kept their music grounded. The Saturday Night Fever soundtrack became a cultural phenomenon. The album sold over 40 million copies worldwide, earning them multiple Grammy Awards and dominating the charts. Robin's vocals were crucial on tracks like More Than a Woman and How Deep Is Your Love, where his voice added depth and sophistication to the disco beats. The Bee Gees weren't just part of the disco movement, they were helping to define it. Behind the scenes, Robin was experiencing the dizzying heights of success while wrestling with its pressures. The brothers were writing and producing hits, not just for themselves, but for other artists. Barbra Streisand, Dionne Warwick, and Kenny Rogers among them. Robin's songwriting abilities reached new heights during this period, contributing to the sophisticated arrangements that set their disco material apart from their contemporaries. Their achievements during this era were staggering. 6 consecutive #1 singles, multiple Grammy Awards, and record-breaking album sales. The Bee Gees became the only group in pop history to write, produce, and record 6 straight #1 hits. Robin's contribution to this success went beyond his distinctive voice. His perfectionism in the studio and his acute understanding of song structure helped create their most enduring hits. Yet the intensity of their success took its toll. The demands of constant recording, touring, and public appearances began to strain the brothers' relationships. The pressure to maintain their position at the top of the charts was immense, and Robin, always the most sensitive of the brothers, felt it deeply. Still, the bond between the twins, Robin and Maurice, remained unshakable, providing stability during the most turbulent times. Which current artist do you think has a vocal style most similar to Robin Gibb's unique vibrato? We'd love to hear your comparisons. Personal life and challenges. Behind the glittering facade of disco stardom, Robin's personal life was a complex tapestry of triumph and turbulence. His 1968 marriage to Molly Hullis, a secretary at Robert Stigwood's organisation, produced 2 children, Spencer and Melissa. Yet the demands of fame strained the relationship. Long periods apart and the pressures of stardom eventually led to their divorce in 1980, a period that deeply affected Robin's emotional state. His most constant relationship was with his twin, Maurice. The two shared an almost telepathic bond, often finishing each other's sentences and instinctively harmonizing without rehearsal. This connection went beyond music. They supported each other through personal struggles, with Maurice helping Robin through his battles with amphetamine addiction in the late 1960s, and Robin later supporting Maurice through his alcohol dependency. The early 1980s brought new challenges as the disco backlash hit hard. Radio stations banned their music and album sales declined sharply. Robin responded by diving deeper into solo work, releasing How Old Are You in 1983, which produced a hit single in Boys Do Fall in Love. He found personal happiness during this period with his second wife, Dweena Murphy, whom he married in 1985. Their relationship, marked by shared interests in history and the arts, brought stability to his life. Yet personal demons continued to surface. Robin's perfectionism, which served him so well in the studio, sometimes manifested as obsessive behavior. He struggled with his weight, fluctuating dramatically over the years. His insomnia, a lifelong battle, grew worse with age. These personal challenges were compounded by the group's changing fortunes as they worked to reinvent themselves in a post-disco world. Through it all, Robin maintained his dedication to music, even as the industry and public taste shifted around him. His resilience would be tested further in the decades to come, but his artistic spirit remained undiminished. Transitions and reinvention. The 1990s marked a period of reinvention for Robin and the Bee Gees. The group's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997 signaled a critical reassessment of their legacy. No longer dismissed as mere disco stars, they were finally recognized as master songwriters whose influence spanned decades. Robin embraced this renaissance, diving into new projects that showcased his artistic versatility. His commitment to environmental causes became increasingly central to his public life. Robin became a passionate advocate for green energy and wildlife conservation, using his platform to raise awareness about climate change. He served as president of the International Federation of Festival Organizations, promoting cultural exchange through music. In 2002, he was awarded a CBE along with his brothers, recognizing not just their musical achievements, but their humanitarian work. Robin's creative spirit found new outlets during this period. He collaborated with his son Robin John on classical works, including the Titanic Requiem, an ambitious project that merged classical compositions with contemporary elements. This late career exploration showed his willingness to push boundaries and explore new musical territories even after decades in the industry. The transition years also saw Robin reconnecting with his roots. He became increasingly interested in preserving the Bee Gees' legacy, participating in documentaries and interviews that helped contextualize their contribution to popular music. His home studio in Oxfordshire became a creative haven where he continued to write and record, maintaining the disciplined work ethic that had defined his career from the beginning. Despite personal challenges, including ongoing health issues, Robin remained active in the industry, mentoring young artists and sharing his vast experience in songwriting and production. His resilience during this period proved that his artistic relevance extended far beyond the disco era. If you could have seen the Bee Gees perform in any era, which would you choose? Their early ballad years or the disco period? Tell us why. Later years, the turn of the millennium brought devastating change with the death of Robin's twin brother Maurice in 2003. After this loss, Robin declared that the name Bee Gees should be retired, stating, "The Bee Gees to us was the three brothers." Despite his grief, he continued creating music, releasing My Favourite Christmas Carols in 2006 and collaborating with his son, Robin John, on the Titanic Requiem. Health challenges emerged in his final years. In 2010, Robin underwent emergency surgery for a blocked intestine, the same condition that had claimed Maurice's life. A 2011 diagnosis of liver and colon cancer followed, yet he maintained remarkable dignity, making public appearances when his strength permitted. Robin worked until the end, spending his final days at home in Oxfordshire, surrounded by family and the music he loved. He passed away on May 20th, 2012. Legacy and impact. Robin Gibb's impact echoes through modern music, with the Bee Gees songs covered by over 2,000 artists worldwide. His distinctive vibrato and emotional delivery influenced generations of singers, while helping create a catalogue of more than 200 million records sold and 8 Grammy Awards. Beyond the numbers, his sophistication in songwriting elevated pop music standards, introducing complex harmonies that continue to inspire artists from hip-hop to rock. His humanitarian work, particularly in environmental causes and music education, rounded out a legacy that transcends his era's musical boundaries. From humble beginnings to global influence, Robin Gibb's artistic journey remains an enduring inspiration. If you enjoyed this journey through the life of Robin Gibb, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to explore more stories of music legends. Your support helps us continue bringing you these in-depth looks at the artists who shaped our musical landscape.